Hey chaps, this is Electric Leo, and today I am again obviously going to be doing a review on the light in front of the camera. This is a disano floodlight, an old disano floodlight with broken glass. And well, the way I'm going to review this light is I'm going to be going on Instagram, I'm going to be looking at my disano floodlight post, I'm just going to be sort of rereading the description and actually showing you what I mean in the description. And since that post, changes have been made to the disano floodlight, so I'll also address those changes as well. So yeah, let's get into the review. For October 2019, I got one of the floodlights I wanted most. It's a 1980s 400 watt sun floodlight made by disano, which is obviously the floodlight right in front of the camera. Now this light is no doubt a very rare light. There's probably only a few hundred of these remaining. Well, I don't know if there is only a few hundred remaining, because I bet you in Spain there's probably Italy, because this is made in Italy, there's probably like thousands of them in Italy. But in the UK there's definitely probably like a few hundred left. This fixture is very heavy for a floodlight of its size. Yeah, it is very heavy at around 40 kilograms. And it is also very, very robust. It's incredibly robust. It isn't like a WRTO arc. It's not that robust. It's robust. It's like a tank. Truly a tank. It's really solid. Yeah, and that noise is just coming from the reflectors because they're loose. But I bet you if you drop this light down, or drop this light high enough that it would reach terminal velocity, the lamp would break, the glass would break, and the gear would break, but everything else would be basically fine. I mean, apart from maybe some of the heatsink fins, because they may actually, snap off. But other than that, it will be fine, and it'll probably be repairable. Continuing on, where we got it. The floodlight has very good heatsink, as I already mentioned. I said the fins would snap off, and well, it does have really good heatsink. I'll actually show you what it looks like at the back of the floodlight. And yeah, this floodlight is very noisy as well. It makes lots of weird sounds, but as you can see, look at these heatsink. It's like an inch deep. Each individual fin is like 14 fins, I think, and there's even fins on the gearbox. And as you can see, some of it has snapped off right here. And yeah, I'll continue on reviewing the back later on in the review. And also, the floodlight is able to balance without needing hand support, even if I tap it. Oh. It balances. It's very good at balancing by itself, which is a really nice trick from a floodlight of this type. Continuing on with this description, I missed out quite a lot of parts because they weren't very relevant for specifically this floodlight. But continuing on with the description, and you can also see me in the reflection. Good thing my eyes aren't that big looking, and I do have a hood up, and I don't really want to take it down because I have really long hair. And I make sure that my hair does not look like Mowgli, because I hate Mowgli. Anyway, this plus another floodlight were installed in the tennis courts in Cottenham Village College, and yes, this floodlight was in Cottenham Village College, as I mentioned in the GECZ5760 review. Disano floodlights were lighting up the tennis courts. They had to be removed to make way for 4 LED floodlights that would light up a part of the court to see if LEDs were worthy of changing the sunlight. The contractors only removed the 2 and kept the rest on, just in case the LEDs were not good enough to stay. Now, yes, this floodlight was removed, as well as another floodlight that's in the house. It's not as good quality, it's much newer as well. Unfortunately, there are 2 faults with the old red floodlight. First, all 10 screws to get into the lamp and the gearbox have welded, and, well, the reason why is because they've welded. Yeah, and because of that, I've smashed the glass so I can get into the lamp, and I've had to use the small stump of cable that came out to wire it up, and because I couldn't get into it, and even if I drilled it, I would break the drill because they're really solid. Plus, the sanded shatterproof glass on this has cracked completely and a hole in it, and has a hole in it, so it would need to be replaced sometime. Well, it had a much smaller hole when I did, but I made the hole much bigger so I can access the lamp. And yes, it has cracked. I don't know if the other 7 disano floodlights on the court have cracked glass, but at least the other 6 of them have sort of translucent glass, sanded glass or something. But I don't know if they're all cracked or if it's just this one or a couple of them. But I can't tell from the distance. I'll probably have to get binoculars so I can look closely at them to see if the glass is actually cracked or if it's just sanded. Now it's free cam time, so now I can have a closer look at the floodlight. So first of all, here's the logo. It's kind of corroded, but it says Disano, made in Italy. But it's very sort of faded away because this specific area has the paint has sort of gone really bright in colour. This is a closer look at the cable. There was a nut on here, but I had to remove it to make way for the 3 chock blocks that connect the live, neutral, and earth to this cable. And actually, earlier today, I swapped some other cable to this cable because the other cable was too short and was black, and actually when this was installed it had white cable coming out of it instead of black cable, so it's just a little more respectful for the light. Here's the lamp. Now I don't really want to take it out because it's too high effort because the details are on the back, but it is a pretty old lamp. It's 400 watts on, obviously, well, as I already explained. Here's the bracket. So here's the nut, and there are actually degrees. Okay, maybe not this. Here we go. Oops. Get out of the way of the camera. As you can see, look, on the bracket, you can see some degrees, so that people can adjust the bracket more carefully. And there is actually moss growing on the bracket because it's so old. And also right here, there is lichen growth on the floodlight, a little bit of lichen growth. Speaking of this area, there are 2 of these rings that act as hinges, probably because the manufacturer lazy when it comes to this part of the floodlight, so they just use rings to act as hinges. And see the bracket here, see more green. And really, the reflectors are clear reflectors. There's a little area in there. There's something on the lamp holder. I don't know if you can make it out from there, but it says. And in newer models of this floodlight, the reflectors are actually bubbled reflectors and not clear reflectors. And on the back of the gearbox, there is another one of those rings to act as hinges, because I guess they were lazy when it came to this part of the light. And this is a closer look at the cable. It's got a 5 amp fuse in it, even though it says whatever that says. Oh, it is actually 5 amp fuse, I think. Yeah, it's actually 5 amps, so I actually kept the 5 amp fuse. That's kind of surprising. But anyways, I'll now show you it when it's operational. Now obviously I won't show you the gear because I can't get into the light, which is very unfortunate for those collectors that like the lamps and the gear. This isn't the video for you. Guess what time it is? Yep, time to switch it on. Just another quote from Bully that's been modified to suit the situation. So let's go switch this thing on and watch it fully warm up. Now there is a brief time in this lamp's warm-up sequence when the lamp makes a whole load of horrible noise. Goes like I think it's doing it right now, a little bit. And yeah, the warm-up sequence is pretty slow. I mean, compared to other like high wattage sun floodlights, they normally take like a very short amount of time to, warm up. Okay. It's already 45 seconds in, that's actually kind of fast. Yes, it doesn't take very long for it to get bright, but then for it to fully warm up it takes a little bit of time. And its light distribution is pretty neat. It's like, what, 35 degrees? Something like that. 35 degrees, not 45 degrees, it's slightly more wide beamed. mainly because it has to light up tennis courts. I mean, that's not really like very reminiscent of floodlights. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention about the bracket, because the bracket, the other area has 3 holes, it has 2 holes here and a hole here. This is because this light is so heavy that it's not designed to be mounted on a wall, because it's too heavy and it will break the bolts and it will fall onto the floor. And so it's designed so it can go on a column. That's why it has a big hole. And the other 2 smaller holes are probably so that it can more securely be mounted on a column, compared to other lights when they normally have 3 holes. 1 bigger hole in the middle and then 2 slightly smaller holes. The bigger hole is for mounting on a column and the 2 smaller holes is for mounting on a wall. But obviously this floodlight doesn't have that, because it's more special. It's too heavy, so it'll fall on the floor and it'll crush someone's head. Hopefully not. Alright, it's... I don't know if it's fully warmed up or not. I'll give it like another 30 seconds.